Well, good evening from Korea. Two misfiring teams meet in our featured K-League 1 match starting in just a few moments. Defending champions Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors remain in the title hunt again despite a run of 3 games without a win in the league and just 1 victory in their last 6. Leaders Ulsan Hyundai just lost to bottom side Songnam last time and are 8 points ahead, still within reach given recent history of Jeonbuk always seeming to have enough to beat Ulsan in the final rounds. Speaking of which, there will be 5 final rounds after the division splits in 2 following round 33. That means 3 more games to go after this one. And FC서울 are running out of space to make it into the top half. They've lost 2 in a row, including 3-1 at home to rival Suwon Samsung Blue Wings on Sunday after a 2-0 defeat at Incheon United the weekend before. But they will face slightly under par Jeonbuk side, you might say. They're not starting with all their guns firing. After Saturday's draw at Gimcheon Sangmu, changes across the lineup and on the bench. They do have Kim Jin-soo, the experienced left back, in again. Park Jin-sub and Koo Jae-ryong in defence, with Yoon Young-sun dropping to the bench. We also see at right back Chae Chul-sun in for Kim Moon-hwan. In midfield, Lee Seung-gi in on the left. Not a position we've seen him play a lot, with Moto Barrow dropping to the bench. Gustavo also out, with Moon Sun-min leading the line, we think, from the start. Jeonbuk, from the next game, will have one of the league's top scorers back in a Jeonbuk shirt, Cho Kyu-sung, finishing military service after 13 goals for struggling Gimcheon this season. Let's take a look at the Seoul side. And, well, for their part, also a number of adjustments after that defeat to the Blue Wings. Captain Na Sang-ho was sent off in that last game, sits this one out. Ki Sung-yong, Yoon Jong-gyu, Keijiro Ogawa and Stanislav Ilichenko all drop out. They shift to a 4-4-2 with Park Dong-jin moving back up front after playing in defence against the Blue Wings. There is a familiar name back, that's Osmar on the bench. But, well, you'd have to say that neither team is fielding their very best side that they could possibly imagine. It's more about perhaps dealing with the fixture pile-up and also trying to cater accordingly. Seoul might not have the highest hopes of winning at Jeonju World Cup Stadium, and Jeonbuk might feel that Seoul at home is winnable so that they can afford to rest Gustavo and Moto Barrow from the start. We'll see how it pans out. Seoul are one of those very unpredictable mid-table teams, a bit like Suwon FC, who did manage to enjoy a good win at home to Pohang last night. And by the way, you may have heard us say in the commentary that Suwon FC were able to make 5 changes despite only having 1 under-22 player in their squad and playing. General rule is you've got to have 2 to make 5 changes. Well, they'd had a call-up for one of their youngsters to the under-20 national team, and that's why they were able to be exempted from that. It was somewhat confusing for those who weren't aware, but there's the explanation. And no such issues for Seoul anyway, as they have 4 under-22s in their starting lineup. Jeonbuk have 1 under-22 in their squad, and he's on the bench, Park Jae-jun. They also have a more experienced substitute who've not seen anything of this season. That's Jang Yun-ho. He'd been playing in the reserves after returning from Seoul Eland at the end of last year. And there might be a sense for both these teams of trying to do things a little differently. Ki Sung-yong, for instance, was caught out when being fielded at the back at times against the Blue Wings. Maybe some fitness issues there as well. Ki was not booked, neither was Yoon Jong-gyu, but both miss out in the squad this evening. There's a key man in Palacevic, but he was, like many others, out of the picture largely against the Blue Wings, and he was substituted off. Cho Young-uk came on as a sub, but also was unable to impact the game. Seoul must have felt the burn of humiliation in front of their own fans against fierce rivals who were below them in the table, and they still are, the Blue Wings, 3 points behind, but they play at Ulsan this evening, also kicking off at the same time, 7:30 local time. Sorry, that's half an hour after this one. The same time as Daegu Songnam is what I meant to say. Jeonbuk Seoul is a 7 p.m. kickoff, and perhaps by 7:30 we'll have a glimpse of one of those two, Barrow and Gustavo. But we'll keep an eye on those other games, particularly Ulsan versus Blue Wings, as Osmar and Ilyichenko get acquainted on the bench. In both their previous games this season, Ilyichenko's played for Jeonbuk against Seoul. Now, maybe he'll come off the bench to play at his old stomping ground. Seoul giving chase with the 2 men up front. Park Dong-jin sliding in early on, looking to make his presence felt. Well, Jeonbuk have had an unconvincing season. They've not had any outstanding scorers. That's been one of their big problems. If you just look at their top scorer being Gustavo on just 8 goals, they're one of the few top teams who don't have a player in double figures yet. And goals scored overall is 38. That's the same as Incheon down in 4th, but equal lowest in the top half of the table. Seoul, for their part, have scored 35, not far behind, but they've conceded 37 and really need to sort out their defensive inconsistencies. Palasevich, well, a surprise result in this one, and a couple of decent results from here might just get Seoul in the top half before the split, but it's looking less and less likely. As recently as a couple of games ago, when Seoul had had 2 wins in a row, it was looking rather likely that they might finish in the top 6. Be guaranteed to avoid relegation. Not only that, be able to compete for a Champions League qualification place. As it stands, they are 5 points ahead of Gimcheon, and that is the 3rd relegation threatened place that Gimcheon are in. Daegu and Songnam behind. Songnam resurgent with 2 wins in a row, and on their way maybe to a great escape. Jeonbuk continue in black, as they did last time at home against Pohang. They were held 2-2. Moon Sun-min! Oh, he forces a save. Did well to get it on target with pressure. The ball not coming down in a hurry. Seemed to be floating in the air there for a moment. And here's Kim Bok-young, trying to beat the keeper at his near post. Saying that Jeonbuk were held by Pohang. In actual fact, they were 2-0 down and then came back to level, and maybe then in the end were held as they were pushing forward, but they also drew 2-2. Palasevich looking for Jong Han-min. There's a heavy collision with Choi Chol-soon. Play on. Both players got up pretty fast. And the pass out to Kim Bok-young. runs out from Seoul. Seoul do like to hold possession. They're going to struggle to rack up the sort of percentage that they normally do against Jeonbuk, who themselves will often be patient from the back. Savage going across to Kim Jin-ya. Challenge in from Meng Song-hoon. Aside from the early flurry from Jeonbuk, asking questions of Seoul keeper Young Han-bin, they've been fairly even so far in midfield possession. Seoul not looking particularly overwhelmed. Trying to play it through, and Seoul have given it away again. That's going to be an issue if they do continue to give it away that cheaply. Jeonbuk are not going to go easy on them for too long. But we might be witnessing the end of an era. Jeonbuk seeking a 6th straight title. They've had by far the most titles since 2009. Very few teams able to penetrate their stranglehold on the K-League reign. Seoul did win the title in 2016. The last 3 years it's been all about the Jeonbuk Ulsan race. Jeonbuk have edged out Ulsan each time. Tae-seok spotting some space on the right with Kang Sung-jin having a run. Pass is soft. Kim Jin-ya looking to recover for Seoul. Good little run this. And he's unlucky not to force a corner. Jeonbuk do brilliantly in defence. Kim Jin-soo holding off Kim Jin-ya. That was a good little burst from Seoul. Didn't result in a clear opportunity, but nonetheless asking some questions. It's a very youthful Seoul side. Midfield, take out Palisevich, and they're all either in the teens or very early 20s. 3 under-22s across midfield, plus the under-22 left-back Lee Tae-seok. Searching. And the quest ends with Seoul keeper Young Chol-sun. Picked up by Kim Bok-young. Well, it was a nice idea. Even with Moon Sun-min's pace, though, that was overhit. Almost a bit of FC Seoul colours on the collar of Jeonbuk's manager, Kim Sang-sik. I noticed that trim when he was giving his pre-match interview. It's a sunny afternoon, hot day, relatively hot day anyway, not quite as humid as it had been earlier this year, but return to sunshine following the typhoon that swept rain across the peninsula this week. It was a particular tragedy in Pohang, which may have been overshadowing the team when they made that trip to Suwon FC yesterday. Seoul continuing to press. It's difficult when you're not in possession. Staying determined. For now. What they're not doing very well is connecting it up with that final third, and that's one of the big differentiating factors between the teams that are pushing for top half and those that are less successful. It's being able to consistently create chances in that final third. Seoul and the big signing of Ilychenko over the summer looked like it might be a missing piece of the puzzle. It certainly did solve our problem, but it hasn't solved all their issues. Park Dong-jin with a push. Koo Jae-ryong accepts the hand. One of the problems they had was Hwang In-bum, of course, on a short-term deal, leaving the club. Left a hole as creative midfield option that had disappeared. They brought in Keijiro Ogawa, who's made a lively impact for Seoul so far. It's not necessarily coincided with the best run for the team, his presence there, but without any disrespect to him, it's difficult to replace a player of Hwang In-bum's calibre and quality. The only reason he found himself really back at Seoul at all was the fact that we had this sanctions situation in Russia. He's moved on to Greece now. Chol-sun's pass wasted. Palacevic pushing it forward, and Cho Young-uk needs to compete there. Okay, they've got the throw, but makes it a little too easy for Koo Jae-ryong. Jeonbuk have been without their defensive stalwart Hong Jong-ho for some time, and you sense that there is a bit of frailty there. As here's an opportunity. It was the young midfielder Baek Sang-hoon found himself with more space than perhaps he even bargained for initially here, and then just one touch too many. Last time they met at the stadium, it was 1-1. Jeonbuk beat Seoul at Seoul 1-0 in July. Gustavo with the goal. But at this stadium in May, it was Roo Jae-moon, who's not featuring for Jeonbuk this evening, who opened the scoring, and Park Dong-jin got a 90th minute equaliser. As we just saw, the possession stats are pretty even. Seoul just being edged out in that respect, but Jeonbuk not stamping their previous confidence on the game yet. It's easy to read quite a lot into it, to be fair, when you're looking at a team that's 8 points adrift, and it could be more than that. I mean, 8 points they should be grateful for. It could easily be 12, 15 points if Ulsan had taken opportunities recently. It's easy to look at that and think, well, Jeonbuk are under par. Oh, there's a possible penalty shout. The referee has a close look. And Kim Jin-young manages to reduce the damage to a throw. Kim Jin-soo is looking at the referee. Bit of clumsiness there from Kang Sang-hee. Don't know if it's anything like a penalty, but got to be very careful making any sort of contact like that in the box. Moon Sun-min, good turn of pace. Still Moon Sun-min. And Lee Seung-gi just couldn't turn it. Palisevich looking to break. Kim Jin-gyu's challenge puts an end to that. There was the initial switch from Moon Sun-min. Lee Seung-gi was looking to turn with the ball and just couldn't make it stick. And we're shy of the 20-minute mark. Still just about deservedly goalless. Jeonbuk, the team with the greatest shout for deserving a lead, if anyone, at this point. It's perhaps unfair to judge Kim Sang-sik when he's wearing a mask, but he always has that apprehensive look on the eyes. And he'd be right to be apprehensive. As I said before, Jeonbuk have had some really poor form in the league. 1 win in 6 is nowhere near good enough for title chasers. Is there yet hope left in this Jeonbuk camp with Ulsan's defeat to Songnam last time? And then you look at, there's an offside right in front of the linesman. You look at Ulsan against the Blue Wings, who'll be feeling buoyed by their win against Seoul. If that one goes against Ulsan this evening, no matter what the result here, that will cause a few problems in the Ulsan camp, you would think. Maybe they can write off one Songnam defeat. Too many draws recently as well for Ulsan. Got to capitalise on Jeonbuk's slip-ups. They can go into the final 5 rounds with anything like a 9-point lead. You'd surely have to say that Ulsan would be far and away the favourites to win the title. But if Jeonbuk, on the other hand, can cut that lead down to 5 points or less, then they have a real chance of leapfrogging them based on the fact that they'll also play Ulsan in the final rounds. So Seoul with the free kick, looking to spoil anything like an early Jeonbuk party. Well, saw the eyes of Kang Sung-jin, went for the less conventional free kick, and obviously the kick did not work out. Lee Sung-min across to Kim Jin-ya. Palasevich short to Lee Sung-min again. We've seen various Seoul captains this year. Na Sung-ho taking up the overall captaincy from Ki Sung-yong midway through the season. Lee Sung-min wearing in Na's absence this evening. Something you hear a lot of in football around the world, changing captains during the course of the season, especially from someone as influential in the Korean game and as experienced as Ki Sung-yong. Palasevich brought down. Pek Sung-ho's a late challenge. Well, they've already looked at that the other way around when Palasevich was taking the free kick. This time, Kang Sung-jin plays it in. It's not the best free kick again. Lee Sung-min, and it's pinballing around in the air, and there's an offside. Seoul guilty of that again. It's clumsy. One thing to lose chances from good Jeonbuk defending, but you don't want to hand it to them. Choi Young-woo, to be honest, it's very tight. Had that been a goal and we'd had a VAR review, I'm not so sure that it would have ended up being offside, but nonetheless. Choi Young-woo and Kang Sung-jin. Lee Tae-seok with the cross. It's a poor one. Seoul applying some half-decent pressure, spending a bit of time in Jeonbuk's half, not creating chances. Ryong's clearance. And Palasevich. Real signs, if Seoul can sharpen themselves up, real signs that there could be an upset in this game. More comfortable than they were against the Blue Wings. And then again, the Blue Wings were seriously fired up for the super match, as they would be. Jeonbuk should be fired up every game. Chol-sun and Jeonbuk caught there. Itae-seok with the challenge. Just came off the feet of Kim Jin-gyu. Seoul win the throw. Palisevich. Well, you can see why he did that, but it's a risky pass. Seoul get away with it. Palisevich chipping it forward. This is a good opening. Park Dong-jin. Chance maybe gone now. That was fortunate for Jeonbuk. Although, perhaps not as fortunate as it appeared to be, because they're being pulled back for the corner. It looked very much as though everything had gone against Park Dong-jin. Then he waited and waited, and the ball flew back off him into play again, but was judged to have already crossed the line, so we will have a Seoul corner. Palisevich will take this corner. Still alive for Seoul. Kim Jin-ya leaves it for Choi Young-wook. Cross attempt is not good. Seoul have to start again, just inside Jeonbuk's half. Baek Sang-hun. I think next time we see the possession stat, it's going to be tilting a little in Seoul's favour based on the last few minutes. Moon Sun-min. Jeonbuk need to get him on the ball more. He's been effective when given the opportunity, but that is another poor waste from Jeonbuk. The sharpness that they seem to have at the start of the game is all but gone. Kim Jin-gyu giving it away, and Jeonbuk look like they're going to line up some changes on this half-hour mark. Seoul putting a little too much pressure on there. Baek Sang-hun receiving a talking to for his exuberance. And here is Modo Barrow. Who's he going to come on for? No under 22 on the pitch right now, so it's not motivated by that, which we've seen a lot of in the K-League, and he may have been sometimes perplexed by those first half substitutions. Well, the culture of first half substitutions is extending to senior players as well, and it's Lee Seung-gi who will come off. The only real justification for this is if there's fitness issues or if they're looking to save some of the pace for later in the game, because Barrow is a dangerous option. Rather than starting him and letting him play relatively fresh Seoul legs, to bring him on now maybe is a good strategy. It just seems counterintuitive for people who've gotten used to the idea of first half substitutions being all about injuries or some sort of very serious poor performance. As Kim Jin-soo's attempted cross is knocked away. There we have it, Seoul with slightly more of the ball. Maybe Jeonbuk watched the Seoul game against the Blue Wings and thought tonight was going to be a bit easier than this. Palasevich knocking it out wide. Kang Sung-jin with an attempted cross. It's Koo Jae-rong easily handling Cho Young-wook once again. Looking at the way they're lining up, you'd think that perhaps you could put Cho Young-wook out wide and bring on Ilyichenko. Barrow. Into Kim Bo-kyung. That's a nice ball through to Barrow. Gets the cross. Had to be there. There was a flag up anyway for offside. Bundled over with around 10 minutes to go in the half, still goalless, and very much either teams to take on this. Jeonbuk could be heading for yet another draw. It would be their third draw in a row. They are underway in the other games. Ulsan versus Suwon Samsung Blue Wings and Daegu versus Songnam. Really interesting fixtures. Palasevich turning. 0-0 across the board, but the other games literally just started in the last 5 minutes. Seoul. Cho is tackled and there'll be a throw. Palasevich. Oh, that's a bit of a sandwich tackle, but he's got it back and now swiped once more and hurt his wrist on the way down. might have been that initial challenge that hurt his wrist. Let's have a look here. Or was it the boot going down on top? He's a picture of pain right now, Palisevich. Palisevich is having some strapping applied. Seoul thinking about a couple of quick kicks and then letting it go. Oh, that's out of play, surely. Player was both feet planted well off the field, chested it down. Kim Jin-kyu. Jeonbuk not giving their home fans much to shout about in this game, barring those early couple of chances that forced saves. Kim Bok-young trying to blast it past Yang Han-bin at his near post, the last of those chances, as Pak Dong-jin turns. And Seoul looking to create something, it's scuffed wide. And to be fair, Seoul for their part have not really had anything to shout about either in terms of actual chances, but at least they've raised the hope by positioning themselves frequently inside Jeonbuk's half. Can't recall Song Bom-gun having to really make a save in this game. Kim Bok-young is receiving the support of the crowd. Not exactly sure what happened. Maybe this will provide the answer. Well, I think that's a seriously unexpected collision from Kim Bok-young's point of view. He's been totally stunned. Trying to apply some water to the back of the neck. Had an ice pack there as well a few moments ago. Restore some awareness. Didn't quite know where he was for a moment. Hopefully he'll be able to run that off. It's an old-fashioned way of describing potential concussion though, and I don't want to be dramatic about it. Maybe that's not close to being a concussion, but it was a nasty looking challenge. Not sideways exactly, but not backwards. Now Baek Seung-ho. Jeonbuk said many times during our featured games that they often don't really show up until the second half. They're very patient, perhaps too patient with their approach to games, especially when they leave it late and are forced to scramble for a result. Su is down. And it's that man again, Baek Sang-hoon, inflicting the injuries, throwing himself around on the field, the Seoul midfielder. Palasevich, and Lee Seung-min finds Lee Tae-sok. Whether it's the lack of confidence or whether they're just rushing things, Seoul's passing needs to improve if they're going to capitalise on what has been overall a relatively decent half for them. Jeong, Kim Bo-kyung looking back to his normal self. Hall's long searching ball. Barrow chesting it forward, had a hint of handball about it. It's back with him again, but offside. And still goalless, Ulsan against the Blue Wings, and Daegu against Songnam. Daegu Songnam, a battle of the bottom two. Ulsan will be of special interest to Jeonbuk, and the Blue Wings will be of interest to Seoul as well, as we play 2 minutes now of stoppage time. Seoul coming forward. Park Dong-jin rescuing that pass and putting in a low cross this time. It's Palasevich. Jung Han-min. And that's a corner. Jung Han-min does have a decent shot on him from that sort of range, but blocked immediately. Looked like Palasevich might be in a position to curl it goalward. Serbian midfielder has come across to take the corner. Park Dong-jin has been involved in a few battles already in this game. Gets back to his feet. Had a bit of a stomping. A lot of physical contact going on from all sides right now as they do go ahead with the corner. Palasevich. does very well. Great footwork. Deserve better. One of those bits of skill that you need to see a replay of in isolation. Does so well. But there's the whistle for half-time. A fairly underwhelming first half. I think Seoul will be fairly pleased from their side that they're not only still holding on to a clean sheet, but they've managed to make Jeonbuk work hard. What they haven't done is test Jeonbuk goalkeeper Song Bom-gun. And Jeonbuk will come out firing at some point in the second half. Seoul need to be ready. Join us for the second half in a few minutes.
자, 그리고 이제 군대를 다녀오셨잖아요. 군대 다녀온 소감 짧게 부탁드리겠습니다.
일단 1년 6개월이라는 시간이 이렇게 빠른 줄 몰랐고요. 네. 그냥 눈 감았다 끄니까 제대한 것 같고. 네. 군대에서 이제 좋은 추억만 있어서 정말 이제 잘 다녀온 것 같고. 네. 네, 그런 것 같습니다.
네, 자 그러면 군인 시절에 우리 전주성과 팬분들 전북이 가장 그리울 때가 언제였습니까?
일단 전북이랑 경기를 하면서 제가 2번 전북이랑 경기를 했는데 그때마다 그리웠던 것 같아요. 네, 그리고 또 전주 이제 전북 현대 경기를 계속 보면서 아 나도 빨리 저기서 경기 뛰고 싶다. 팬분들 앞에서 빨리 좋은 모습 보여드리고 싶다. 좀 이런 생각뿐이었던 것 같아요.
자 그러면 마지막으로 조규성 선수의 올해 목표 한번 말씀해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
목표는 당연히 이제 전북 현대 돌아와서 1위 탈환해서 우승하는 게 목표고, 네. 전북 현대라는 그 이름으로 카타르 월드컵 진출하는 게 가장 큰 꿈인 것 같고 목표인 것 같습니다.
자 알겠습니다. 자 우리 조규성 선수의 목표 꿈이 이루어질 수 있고 그리고 1년 6개월간 전북을 그리워했습니다. 다시 한번 우리 조규성 선수에게 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 자 우리 많은 팬분들께서 궁금해하실 것 같아요. 우리 조규성 선수가 과연 컴백을 했을 때 몇 번을 갈지 궁금할 텐데 자 올해 조규성 선수에게 유니폼
fired up for. 제철순 That is another. Sharpness. Saves. Fresh Seoul legs to bring him on now. Maybe it's a good strategy. It just seems counterintuitive for people who've Choi Young-wook once again. And looking at the way they're lining up, you'd think that perhaps you could put Choi Young-wook out wide and bring on Ilyushenko. Barrow. Ming Song-ho into Kim Bo-kyung. That's a nice ball through to Barrow. Gets the cross. Had to be there. There was a flag up anyway for offside. Bundled over with around 10 minutes to go in the half, still goalless, and very much either teams to take on this. Jeonbuk could be heading for yet another draw. It would be their third draw in a row. They are underway in the other games. Ulsan versus Suwon Samsung Blue Wings and Daegu versus Songnam. Really interesting fixtures. Palasevich turning. 0-0 across the board, but the other games literally just started in the last 5 minutes. Itaesuk. Chotsun is tackled and there'll be a throw. Palasevich. down on top. Palasevich stands over the ball, as we saw several times in the first half when Seoul's free kicks were not working out. They tried a few little clever short free kicks, which didn't prove to be all that clever in the end. Don't have a lot of height in the box. And again, an aerial effort, unable to reach a target. Kim Jin-ya has blasted that over. Rather comfortable for Koo Ja-ryong to head it away initially. And that, not only over, but well wide. Mentioned that there's other games in progress. Wrapping up, starting half an hour after this one. We've seen goals in both of them. Ulsan 1-0 at home to the Blue Wings. Daegu 1-0 at home to Songnam. So Songnam, the momentum shifting back in the direction of relegation automatically for them if it stays that way. For Ulsan, a win, and anything but a win for Jeonbuk, and they move into a more commanding lead. They're currently 8 points ahead of Jeonbuk. Sub. Jeonbuk remain relatively patient across the back line. Looked like it was out of play, but just across the line, maybe. Whistle's going to pull us back. Sok with a good ball down the line, but Palasevich won't get there. And there comes a point in the season where you just have to stop doing the maths and say, look at what's in front of you. Jeonbuk need to win games like this if they're going to win the title. For Seoul, well, they need to start winning games against anyone if they're going to finish top half. If they somehow win this one, they'll be only 1 point behind top half. And they've got Suwon FC next, so they'd have a chance to overtake them. Even a draw would be a relatively decent result for Seoul. Be a very decent result under most circumstances, but considering 3 points is required, still something to celebrate from away at Jeonbuk. Long time to go till we start anticipating too closely how many points each team will take from this game, as Barrow runs into the box and Kim Bok-young slips, does he? Wins the corner. Headed straight back out. Kim Bok-young lifting it up, and Jeonbuk. Oh, that wasn't too far away in the end. It was a whistle anyway, but Koo Ja-ryong is in an advanced position. Not sure if he was initially going for the cross or not, but that's one thing about Jeonbuk in this game. They've not been anything like at their best. They've not spent enough time in Seoul's half, but they've perhaps been the side that's been more likely to open the scoring. A little more clinical. That's another very tight offside decision. Park Dong-jin rising into Koo Ja-ryong, and you wonder how long it'll be before we see a Seoul change. Ilyachenko, it's written in the script surely for him to come on at his old stadium and prove a point. Barrow. Oh, it's tackled. He claims he was fouled, but it looked like a fair challenge. Halasevich is muscled off by Moon Sun-min. Barrow is still protesting. Get a better picture of this here. But that's a good challenge. Lee Sung-min wins the ball pretty clearly. Tough tackling. Park Dong-jin. And Lee Tae-seok now. Seoul looking to regain some possession. Jong Han-min. Halasevich. Not for the first time. Rushed pass from Seoul, and they've not quite had the options. Moon Sun-min looking to sneak through, couldn't get there. I've got to say, from Seoul's point of view, this is just about as solid as they've been defensively all season. And that's saying quite a lot because they've had their shaky moments. Usually have a few shaky moments every game. But the dangerous passes out at the back have been less evident in this game. Gustavo coming very deep to collect. And is forced to turn on the halfway line. Will spread the play out wide to the right. Jong Han-min. Fortune favours the determined there. Halasevich. Pass to Kang Sung-jin. Yet again, both sides have been guilty of this today. Far too many incomplete passes. Kim Jin-soo. Into Moon Sun-min. Gustavo with a flick on, finds Moon Sun-min. Makes out to Kim Jin-soo. Barrow's cross. Good header, but only as far as Meng Song-eun. Straight back in the box. Crisper passing from Jeonbuk. They're stepping it up a notch. Barrow. Flicks it up. And Palasevic is brought down by Barrow. It's marginal. Catches a bit too much of Palasevic, and here is a change that needed to be made. It's a double change, as far as we're aware. Keijiro Agawa and Stanislav Ilichenko. It's important to get the personnel changes right. One option is to bring off one of the youngsters on the wing, play Choi Young-wook out wide and have Ilichenko come on up front. Agawa maybe on for Baek Sang-hoon in midfield. But we have also seen Palasevic brought off early in games, and he's been knocked about quite a bit already in this one. Well, it is Jong Han-min on the left wing who'll come off. And it is another youngster in Baek Sang-hoon who comes off. So it's a fairly predictable double change, and probably the right ones that Seoul need to make to retain some of their quality on the field, the experience of Palasevic, rather than bringing him off in a game like this too soon. And two youngsters getting nearly a full hour as well, which is pretty decent in a season where so many of the under-22s have been brought off in the first half, as we noted earlier. So now each team with a couple of changes each. Let's see how Seoul's latest additions change the shape of the game. Got to deal with a Jeonbuk attack first. Gustavo and Kim Jin-soo linking up. Gustavo waited and waited. Will be a Jeonbuk throw. Half-time in the other two games. Ulsan 1, Blue Wings 0. Daegu 1, Songnam 0. And the flag is up. Two foreign strikers scoring in those games. Martin Adam for Ulsan, Zeka for Daegu. On that occasion, it was a bit more clear, the offside, than some of the other tighter decisions. Young Han-bin gets it away. It's a long kick towards Ilichenko. He keeps it in. Choi Young-woo. Back to Park Dong-jin. Inside to Palasevic. And he finds Choi Young-woo. It's a low ball, and they just needed someone on the edge of the box there. Already, while we didn't see a change in the outcome, already a slightly more dangerous feel to the Seoul build-up, with the options now at their disposal. Can also expect Jeonbuk to keep turning the screw up the other end. Could end up being quite an exciting finish, an open game becoming more open. Seoul being forced to sit back a lot more in this game in the second half after leading possession in the first. Here is Keijiro Agawa. Kang Sung-jin with the cross. Oh, that was a dangerous moment because Koo Jae-ryong did not either get the shout from the keeper or didn't listen to it. Could have had a bit of confusion. Barrow. Yoon Sun-min has been tripped in a very dangerous position. Ogawa protesting his innocence as soon as he realized he'd fouled. Baek Seung-ho and Kim Bo-kyung both stand over this one. Position probably favours Baek, doesn't it? And just looking at the way he's eyeing this up, it does seem very much as though number 8, Baek Seung-ho, is going to strike this. Here he is. It's one of those with lots of anticipation, not followed up by the reality. Seoul's wall did its job. Defensive header wide. Lee Sung-min apologises. Obviously not quite what he intended. Looked like the sort of a header a striker might make. Curling corner. Lee Sung-min this time with a header away pretty emphatically. 25 minutes to go. Jeonbuk's title grip loosening a little more with Ulsan winning. As it stands, the gap at the top of the table is 10 points up from 8. Jeonbuk can bring it back again to 8 points if they can win this. They might do even better than that if the Blue Wings can do them a favour at Ulsan. Kim Bo-kyung foul. Lee Tae-seok guilty right in front of the referee. Sun-min trying to cause a nuisance. So often a substitute, Moon Sun-min. He's been one of Jeonbuk's better players, having started this one. Lee Sung-min. Had a good game, Lee Sung-min. As I said, Seoul's defence has looked a bit sturdier than on many other occasions this season, and Lee Sung-min has led well from the back. Jin causing a nuisance of himself, standing in front of the ball as Kim Jin-soo was going to take the free kick. Never particularly popular with the opposition fans, Park Dong-jin, because of that sort of tactic that he so often employs to put himself about and cause a nuisance. him and Ilyachenko need to connect in the more positive sense of creating a chance or two now. Seoul are going to keep testing Jeonbuk. Advantage goes Seoul's way. Choi Young-woo playing it inside, searching for Park Dong-jin. It's headed straight back out. Barrow with a chance to break up the other end. Baek Seung-ho. Now Kim Bok-young in space. Closed down. Seoul under a bit of pressure from Park Dong-jin, who leaves a push in. And Meng again, more space this time, floats it forward. Moon Sun-min gets there, can't quite control it. Bok-young. Barrow gets the cross straight at the keeper. Halasevich caught in possession. Barrow. Gustavo. And Jeonbuk opening up another gear, you'd probably have to say. Kim Jin-soo's cross, again though, too close to the keeper. Yang Han-bin urging Seoul's players forward, wants options, looks to pick out Ilyachenko. It's headed back out by Che Cho-sun. It's been a much more comfortable second half for Jeonbuk, but still goalless. Baek Seung-ho and Barrow. That's a lovely ball. Moon Sun-min with Barrow running on. Moon into the box. Getting a little closer. The temperature rising. Jeonbuk working it from the back again. Now a long ball for Gustavo to chase. He won't get there. this is possible cramp, the way they're dealing with it. Kang Sung-hee's gone down. It's a bit early in the game for that. Osmar is preparing to come on. Someone we know can play at the back, but he's not had first team football for several weeks now. And this looks like a bit more than cramp at this point. After a very solid defensive performance so far. They also have Hwang Hyun-soo, someone who's not played a lot of football this year. Min-hyuk, an engine midfield. Probably Palisevich will be making way as well, that means. But it's not entirely clear that Kang Sung-hee's ready to come off. We'll see who's going to make way in a moment as Ilychenko barges his way through with the whistle going against him. And now, maybe a chance for a change. So Osmar making his return to the team and earning some applause. He's popular among the fans, a lot of them choosing to have Osmar on the back. Im Min-hyuk is on for Palisevich. And Palisevich's name also being rung out, but it's Kang Sung-hee who saw coming off before injured. Despite getting back on his feet again and looking like he might be ready to come back on, Osmar will drop back into defence. There is the injured Kang. Osmar also brings a bit of height for those set pieces. Something Ilychenko's not had a chance to offer yet because they've not really had the crosses in since he came on. Just long balls up from the goalkeeper. And there he is competing again. He's gone down under Park Jin-sub's foot. Has gone down again. This time, no protection from the referee. He leaves it for Lee Tae-seok. And Cho Young-woo with a chance to run on. It's a poor pass from Koo Ja-ryong. Space opening up here for Ogawa and then Kang Sung-jin. Still Kang Sung-jin running out of space, leaves it then for Im Min-hyuk. And Cho Young-woo will go for goal. First time we've seen Song Bom-gun have to make a save in this game really, and drew the breath of the crowd. Experienced forward option. not at his most effective this year. But it comes on for Kim Bo-kyung and might have something to offer in the closing stages of this game. Seoul. It's all the way to Kim Jin-soo, keeps it in play comfortably. Kim Jin-soo is blocked, but no free kick. And the pass out is dangerous because Jeonbuk have it straight back again. Baek Seung-ho, it's through to Han Gyo-won, the sub. Just couldn't get the right side of it. Forces the corner. Bit of a scramble for Seoul. But was that offside? Yes, pretty clearly. Took a long time for that to be acknowledged. But we just heard the whistle there in the background. Taking up the position on the left side of central defence. Gyo-won will wait for the throw. Inside the final 10 minutes plus stoppages, Jeonbuk must know that it's now or never in this game to start pushing forward. Still 1-0 to Ulsan. Still, as things stand in the live league table, a 10-point gap between Ulsan and Jeonbuk. Might feel their grip on the title is slipping a little further. Does enough and plays it on. Well, Cho Young-wook going for glory and going for an audacious effort when there were perhaps better options on. Ilyichenko with a decent pass. Cho hitting it first time, looking to curl it around the keeper. Gustavo. Kim Jin-soo picking up the ball from Han Gyo-won. And goes back again. Cross is blocked immediately. Song-on lifting it towards Gustavo. It's headed out by Seoul. Park Jin-sub under pressure. Ilyichenko chasing down, and Song Bom-gun had to be quick. He was. Osmar That's the aerial presence I talked about before. Both teams having a go now. Two teams maybe low on confidence. Could explain why they've both been fairly timid in this game. Moon Sun-min. Still Moon Sun-min! It's a good effort. Strikes the flag behind the goal, though. Disbelief. Osmar. Straight back to Jeonbuk, and it's pinballing again, as we've seen a few times in this game. Eventually it's out for a Seoul throw. Ogawa. Ilyachenko. Looking for Park Dong-jin, finds Choi Young-wook in the end, out to Park, and he just couldn't get that last pass. It's ended up with Kang Song-jin anyway, but Park Dong-jin colliding with Kim Jin-soo means the whistle's blown before. That was a promising build-up from Seoul. If you could combine Seoul's build-up in this game with Jeonbuk's cutting edge, then you might have a pretty decent side, but both of them have been lacking in key areas. Slides into Kim Jin-soo. Hurt himself as well in the process. Treatment goes on for Park Dong-jin, and we'll just see an extra minute or two of stoppage time. Kang Song-jin is off with Bong Hyun-soo, a defender, on for a winger. Seoul may not have entirely given up their aspirations of scoring in this game, but they've sensed that there's a time to start shoring up at least the clean sheet and the point. Regardless of Jeonbuk's form of late, you've got to respect the point at Jeonju World Cup Stadium, but a reminder from Jeonbuk's point of view, this would be a third straight draw and a seventh game with only one win in that time. Just nowhere near good enough for a team with aspirations to win the title for a sixth straight time. And Min-hyuk's pass forward is insufficient. And there's the foul by Ilyachenko. And it's changed from Jeonbuk sees a forward off and a defender on. Surely they're not trying to shore up a 0-0. Maybe just looking to adjust the tactics a little bit. Have a player with more of an aerial presence in there. If they're planning to throw forward crosses. Flicked on, headed back out by Seoul, bouncing around. Choi Young-wook leaves it for Im Min-hyuk, the substitute. Ogawa. Seconds remain of the 90, and then we find out how much will be added on. If one of these teams can come up with a dramatic winner, they'll be breaking hearts of the other. Hearts that, in Jeonbuk's case, may take some time to be put back together again, because this title is slipping away, as we said. Only 3 minutes added on. Somewhat surprising given some of the lengthy delays we've had. Several injuries. Ilyichenko. Park Dong-jin back out to Ilyichenko with a low pass. Keeper was alert to it. He's not had a very busy evening, Song Bom-gun. Done everything he's needed to, including rushing out to defy Ilyichenko a few minutes ago, and that was one of Seoul's brighter moments in the second half. Gustavo. And it's a decent cross. Barrow. And headed on the crossbar. And it's still happening. Oh, it's a scramble on the goal line. And Jeonbuk come as close as they have in this game to breaking the deadlock. Han Gyo-won, far from the tallest player on the pitch, with a header off the crossbar. Pucked in sub, rather, with a header initially. It was Han Gyo-won on the follow-up, striking it wide. But the same applies to both of them. Pucked in sub to beat Osmar in the air there. Had to get the timing just right. Seoul survive. 1.5 minutes to go. Is that the last meaningful chance for Jeonbuk? Oh, Seoul quickly give the ball away and invite another one. Min Song-ong chipping it up for Gustavo. Quickly away by Ogawa, and then hammered forward by Choi Young-wook, but there will be a throw. Last gasp stuff now. Jeonbuk will have an attacking throw. They take it quickly. Back out again. I think in Seoul's defence, it wasn't really up to them to make this an entertaining game. They'll be quite happy to have come here and win a point if that's what they do. Jeonbuk really needed the 3 points. Here comes Seoul up the other end. Park Dong-jin leaves it for Ilyichenko. Still 1-0 to Ulsan, 1-0 to Daegu in the other games this evening. Kim Jin-yeon, there's yet another disappointing end to a move from Seoul going forward. Enough to guarantee the point. 0-0. Jeonbuk short of being would-be champions. Defending their title, looking less likely. Ulsan, if they can hold on to 3 points against the Blue Wings, will be 10 points clear tonight, but we'll have to wait another half hour or so to find out.